Hello, everyone. Welcome to our next episode of Share Your Story. And this is all part of Eden Codes, a group that both Amy and I are part of. Amy Sparks is she's a friend that I met through Nina, and I've heard wonderful things about her. But I'm so excited to be able to learn firsthand and talk to you for we'll do like a 30 or 40 minute interview.
Oh,
Um, so yeah, so my first question was just because we're in this wonderful community, just what drew you to being part of this women's group?
yeah, well, I'm very excited to be a part of this group. Nina invited me, and it's been great learning what it's all about. And I've enjoyed learning from other parents and other women. And I feel like through the Zoom recordings and things that are offered, it's really helped my insight and also my how I'm connecting with my son. So it's been a great experience so far.
Great. And can you tell us a little bit about your son? And I know that you have a few other children, but
You're
the
right, this one. Yeah, so my, son is Peter, and he's 25 years old and has always been, nonverbal, unable to speak, and has never really used any methods, like, from his iPad or any apps, to communicate, but we did just start spelling to communicate about 9 months ago, so, that kinda blew my mind that he already knew how to spell everything. I mean, I knew he could read a little bit and stuff, but yeah, that's been kinda mind blowing. And then from the telepathy tapes to meeting another woman that connects with Peter telepathically, and learning about him and his abilities, and that he's here for many purposes, and many things that I've learned about him that has just been life changing. So um, that is kind of how it's been the last. So I met Nina through that, actually through, I guess through Noah, the Smiths. We were on a Zoom call together, and so I know she's kind of had some connection with Peter, communicating as well. So, yeah,
Great. So yeah, so this is something quite new to a lot of people, the telepathic connection. I know I'm also in the loop of people that are doing this. I also have a son, he's 10. And just I'd like to know about your feelings from when you first started learning about it and how you feel about this kind of energetic connection.
yeah. I was completely like never thought about energy, didn't know about even like Schumann resonance or frequencies or all that stuff. So this is all like very new to me. So I go on a lot of rabbit holes of researching or just seeing other people's videos. And so it's been just a big learning curve for me. And I'm still, don't understand it all, but I feel like it's helped my faith and my spirituality, as well as obviously my interaction with my son. Peter always seemed like he didn't really understand much language, and that was based off of his reactions as well as, um, maybe what he was trying to do after we asked him to do something. Um, but learning about apraxia and dyspraxia, and there are issues with them being in their bodies and disconnected and irregulated, and so it all kind of has made sense. Um, but yeah, understanding that he is completely brilliant and all-knowing, and I was also told that he wanted me to know that he's an angel incarnate, and he has lots of different purposes that he's working with other people on as well as his own. So apparently, he's the holder of the color blue, and that's a very big deal. I'm not exactly sure what that entails, but I know colors and geography and all that stuff is a big deal. So, yeah, and understanding that we've all had other lifetimes, and you know the connection there. My son chose me based on my energy and my apparently my strength and my love and all this stuff. So it's been, amazing to hear and try to understand all that.
Yeah, that's interesting because I've also been told that my son is connected to the color green.
Okay.
So it's something that we're all, as moms, I talk to a lot of moms and I'm so grateful to have this network now and it's growing
Right.
because, it's I don't know, maybe you could speak to this as well. Just for me, it's just also opening up the doors to, it's always the question everything, but like the healing, like that like a lot of the kids are actually healing uh people through, their magic and
Right.
it's you said something about that for your son as well. Can you address a little bit the healing?
Well, I guess my son is able to send like good energy to people and stuff like that. I don't know if he's a healer per se, like Noah and Adriana Smith. Um, but I know that he has always been with me since day one, and so he knows all my feelings and thoughts.
Mm,
And he can remote view and he reads my mind. And so I guess not only is he connected with me that way, but he uses me to balance himself and my energy. So learning about how I can like heal myself or make myself better and more grounded so that he can mirror that and that he can use my energy and all of that to help his body and himself. He's very always jumping all around, never is sit still, always is stemming, does a lot of, I guess, what we call OCD. That sounds so negative, but he does have a very rigid rituals and schedule. So, and I'm learning that that's how he's able to ground himself and to calibrate himself in this dense environment and to be back in his body and stuff. But it can be pretty intense and but it's helped knowing the reason behind it versus just thinking of it as a annoying OCD thing that I can't get him to stop. And that, a lot of it is he organizes the trash can and it's like we're trying to not get him to touch the raw chicken and and he's stomping about it. So we do a lot of like, okay, we better throw out this garbage, tie it up because it's got like all the gross stuff we don't want him touching and stuff like that. But and he does a lot of ripping. He wants all labels off and the mail he rips up into small pieces. If there's stamps or any sort of labels, even food labels. And I kind of learned a big part of that is because they all have barcodes, which has electricity. I guess it affects him. So like salad dressing bottles, anything that we're constantly ripping, taking things off, even shampoo bottles, whatever, everything is off. So he'll search the house and dig for anything. Um, so yeah, I don't know.
wow,
Yeah,
wow,
it's
that's
an, it's a
that's
lot.
intense.
It is. It is.
But I
During the
agree.
day, he goes to a day program, so that keeps him kind of busy and fulfilled. He really enjoys it. So that's kind of my little, respite to do things that I don't want him necessarily involved in or just, catching up on household chores and all that. So, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I was just gonna say I totally agree that with the idea that once you start to understand it more, it makes it
Yes.
so much easier, and it's, I feel like they change as well, you know?
Yeah. I mean, I think he's excited to finally know that I'm knowing him and that I'm able to understand him a bit. And through another woman, we are able to, she's able to tell me things that he's wanting to share. And so that's been a blessing. And I think yeah, I think there's just maybe a better connection. Um, I don't know. Yeah.
I'm sure there's a better connection. Yeah, have you tried to also send him, like, they talk about telepathy is
Yeah,
kind of think of it like a radio station, like, do you transmit to
I
him?
know. I mean, I try and I've tried to look into my heart space and he said he would meet me there. and that it's not necessarily won't necessarily be a voice of his, but maybe a feeling or a thought or something that I know is not mine. I'm trying to open myself up to that with like meditations or when I first wake up or when I'm going to sleep, because I know that 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 in between, what do you call that, twilight or no, I forget the word, when you're kind of asleep but you're not, lucid dreams. I don't know. But I've not been able to know that there's something. I'm like, oh my gosh, that must be him. But I'm probably just not aware of it. Like maybe certain thoughts or things. Nothing's been, evident for me to know that. But I do speak to him in my mind now. So I'm assuming that translates.
Yeah, and you probably speak to him a lot more just knowing that he's in there, because I found that with my
Oh,
son,
yeah.
just, like, in general, yeah, it's really
Yeah.
neat.
I mean, I never thought that he wasn't smart and he wasn't purposeful and stuff, but I certainly didn't think he understood much language. And so that has been just like I said, by his reactions, or he does something wrong and or he doesn't do what we're trying to, like, turn out the lights, and he might, like, shut a door or but now understanding that a lot of times they can't control their bodies, or so we would always speak to him, like short commands, so to speak, like, okay, let's get in the car, let's go do this, and but now I'll speak more to him. But I will say he kind of is like this a lot. So um, I don't think it's, I used to think because he didn't want me to talk to him, but I think sometimes he's in a different realm and working on things, and I'm interrupting that. I don't know. That's what I've been told. But uh,
I've had that so many times from people, like, when he covers his ears, and I feel bad because it makes people feel bad, but then I
yeah,
explain, that he's just in this overwhelmed, he has, like, to kids especially, I'll be like, "No, he just hears everything very loud," just because I don't want them to feel bad, like, that he's
right. Yeah,
trying
that's
to
true. Totally. Yeah.
pay attention to them, but that's something for me that's often hard with kids, 'cause adults, you could explain it, but I just don't like that the kids feel hurt, or, like, they'll,
Right.
"Give me 5," or, like, they're trying to make contact and
Yeah.
you're like, "Oh, what a sweet kid," and then you're like,
Yeah. Yeah.
just walks away, and you're, "No,
I
come
know. I know. It is hard with the other kids.
on."
Yeah.
I was actually gonna go back, well, you mentioned the lucid dreaming, that's something that
Okay.
I've been working with a little bit, but,
Okay.
you said remote viewing. I know my son astral travels, and maybe for a lot of the people in eating codes might know, but if we do wanna expand this, either remote viewing or astral traveling, what you consider that to be.
Yeah, I mean, I'm assuming he does the astral going into, that, as well as, what was the other thing you said?
Remote.
Oh, remote viewing. So I did ask Kara, who is the one who can tell me stuff. I'm like, he remote views, right? He sees through my that. She's like, oh yeah, there's not much privacy with us on that. And I've known that. I mean, not that I've known that he can, really see, what I'm doing and see what I'm seeing, but there's so many instances through the 25 years where he's come home and immediately goes to something that I was working on that I didn't tell him or show him, and or things that I've hidden um, out of necessity of him not tearing it up and such, and him going straight to that when he gets home, and um, just random bizarre things. And my husband and I was always joke that he can read our minds, but it's really not a joke. So yeah.
Yeah, I've definitely noticed, like, you think you hide something. Like, we were in a store and someone gave Owen one of those, the things to put the prices on, and he was playing with it.
Oh
And
yeah.
then they took it away and they put it somewhere, and he went right to where it was, and he, like, opened the drawer, and I was like, "Yeah, you can't hide
Yeah.
anything."
Yeah. It's like totally. Yeah. I know.
But it's funny.
And I will say, like, I was worried when I first started learning about through the telepathy tapes about um, where they can go and how they, leave their body in a sense to visit like the hill and other realms and things, even though they seem to be there. Um, but I was worried about like dark entities and opening himself up to that, because I was watching a lot of taped Zoom calls where parents their kids were like being attacked, or they have a hard time controlling, getting back control of their body in those situations. And so I was worried I was opening Peter up to that if I was to venture in these
Mm.
ways of learning about that or speaking to people that can connect to him or whatever. I was kind of worried. And I've learned that he is such at a higher frequency than that. And they're like, he doesn't even think of that. They couldn't even reach him if they wanted to. And so that has been, a relief that he is so much higher spiritually in his intentions and his vibrations and his power, that it's, none of that is even concerning of him, or yeah.
Yeah, I've definitely been, feeling into this as well. And sometimes you have to try it for your child. Like it may be very true that for other children this is happening.
Oh yeah, yeah.
But personally, I do have discernment. However, I haven't noticed in Owen specifically any actually I've actually experienced improvement, like just constant improvement.
It's
So
hot.
until I see otherwise,
Yeah.
I'm just gonna go with it.
Right, right. No, yeah, I know. It's scary that, I mean, I guess I've always known there's demons that and such, but I guess not really thinking about that. But it makes sense. Like when we have bad thoughts and bad what we say. I mean, that's like, Satan working on us and stuff. And I guess I've never really thought of it that way. And the fact that they're always right there wanting to get in and take over and stuff like that. So that was kind of scary for me to think about for him, but I'm glad it's not an issue.
Yeah, and I feel like just because we feel this as parents, that's a protection. We're their moms,
I
so
know.
it's just as you protect them from falling off a ladder or whatever, like that energetic quality of
Right.
it's just important. Yeah,
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah.
Um, let's see. So is yeah, you did say you have a few other kids. Can you just give us a little detail of like general
Yeah.
of your life? Like,
Sure. Sure. I actually just have one other son. He's a senior at University of Tennessee in Knoxville. So he is, I guess, what we call neurotypical. Um, yeah, and he's 4 years younger than Peter. So, um, other than that, it's just my husband and I and Peter, and our lives revolve around him and his needs. We keep him very busy on the weekends. We take him swimming, and we go for 4 mile walks on the Greenway, and he swims laps. He actually does like a kind of a breaststroke butterfly thing with his head out of the water, and he swims back and forth for like a mile. So it's kind of crazy. He's very fit. He loves that. He loves roller skating. He loves bowling. So like, oh, he also does spin class with my husband in the mornings at his gym.
ah,
So, yeah, exercise is definitely something he enjoys, and he just likes to be busy. He doesn't just like chill out on the couch, unfortunately, for any length of time. So we have a set schedule on days that he isn't at his day program or like on the weekends. And then even at home, there's a whole routine he does, and I give him a lot of supplements. So I'm always, working on getting those in like I do. And so, yeah, it's just a routine from morning to night, and it's just what it is.
wow. That takes a lot of organization to keep everything together.
Yeah.
I feel
No.
like it's a lot of work. It's
Yeah, it is. And then, you know, his self-help, I do all that as well, like bathing, shaving, brushing his teeth, all that stuff. And learning also about the apraxia, or I guess for this it's dyspraxia, where,
hmm.
they can do intentional movements or things like he wouldn't understand how to swirl the toothbrush around or use the right pressure to wash himself and stuff like that. Like he is physically, like he can run and jump and figure things out. He's very agile and coordinated and stuff. But as far as doing stuff to himself, that's like, cleaning himself or the self help, it's just the motor planning for that is too difficult. So we're actually trying to work on some OT equipment or just some guidance to help me with that, because, how much longer am I going to be able to like bathe him and all these physical things? he can kind of dress himself if we orient. He can dress himself, but if we don't orient the clothes, his shirt might be backwards, that sort of thing, and he could take his clothes off. But any of that other, stuff, I do. So
Yeah, yeah. I have a similar situation. I mean, Owen, actually, they seem very similar.
really,
To meet because Owen is also very active.
okay,
But yeah, you show him to brush his teeth and you're going like this and he's going like this, or it's just like
yeah,
it's interesting.
yeah.
And the swimming, well, I just wanted to ask you about water in general.
Oh my gosh. I mean, I will say, out of the autistic individuals and parents that I've known through Peter's schools, I've never met any autistic kid that does not like the water, pool, ocean, shower, bath, whatever. And now learning about water and the power of water, and that God is water, and it's very holy and sacred. So it's interesting to me. He did share with me through Kara that swimming is the only, he loves it, and it's the only time his body feels free.
Mm.
And so, but it's like as soon as he gets out of the water, you know, he fights with his body and the discomfort of that. Sorry, I'm choking. Um, so it's interesting how much
Yeah.
water helps him.
Speaking of water, you want to get a
I
drink?
know I need to go get some water. Like I'm talking too much.
No, no, it's great. No, this has been so great. I just think that us connecting with other parents, a matter of fact, I can plug our little call that we're gonna have for other parents, and that
Okay.
won't be on, YouTube. That'll be just in our private group. And, I just feel like the parents are very naturally coming out with like questions, and we're dealing with them together and
Yeah.
helping each other.
Yeah. I mean, it definitely helps. And I think it helps the kids too, because I think on our calls and stuff, they're able to connect.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, totally. Like, that was something we mentioned, that we need to have a call where we know that the kids can be there too.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
There's
I've
something about when their screen's on and they don't have to be necessarily right on the screen, but as long as you're with them, they're able to connect better. And I don't know. It's
It's
interesting.
true. Yeah, I've literally, like, asked Owen, because this bunch of squares on the screen, like, of different homes and stuff, and I'll just ask him, like, "Oh, who are you connecting with?" And he'll, like, point to a certain kid, and
Oh
yeah,
wow. That's
yeah, yeah.
awesome. That's awesome he can do that. Yeah.
It is, yeah. Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah, but water, I mean, he loves the ocean, the whole buoyancy. Like he likes to go out there where he's not touching. I mean,
Mhm.
we're with him, or not me, my husband. I don't feel safe. He's too big now for me to make, if I had to like grab him, it'd be hard. Um, but yeah, I guess it's just very healing for them as well. I give them a bath. Um, and before I do that, I let him soak in the tub with the Epsom salt and at least 20 minutes. And he always is below his ears because I know that helps with his pineal glands and stuff. So, yeah. So that definitely helps him. He
Yep.
loves it.
I do the same, and he could just stay there for, I mean, I don't wanna, maybe an hour if I didn't get him out.
Right.
He's, like, a little wrinkled
I know. Yeah. Very
when he gets
pruned,
out.
pruned up. Yeah.
But the Epsom salt's also for the real for going to the
Detox or,
bathroom, really helping too. And yeah,
no,
yeah.
I know.
It's like I said, it's just good that we get to see how many parents, we're learning, and we all share information.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. We've been working with a functional doctor too, but
Mhm.
um, it's kind of hard. We have to go at least visit him once a year, but to try to help with any, like his brain and his gut, and brain meaning like what do you call it? Like through the frat tests and stuff, like having low folate and
Mhm.
high glutamate and all that stuff. I don't know, the microbiome in the stomach. So I think he's been feeling a little better from that too. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, it's like you have to do a little bit of everything, and even
I
change it
know.
up. Like, I feel like you always have to you do something for a certain amount of time, and then, this doesn't really seem to be doing the same effect, and then you try
Yeah,
something else, and then, that's how my
absolutely.
journey's been.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. But I just wish I knew about like spelling
Oh,
as
yeah.
well as, their I didn't, through spelling, that's how we've learned kind of all about their abilities, right? So I wish I knew about this years ago, but I guess it's all in, divinely planned and stuff at this point. But I envy, parents that are doing all this stuff to help their bodies and spelling and all these other things at such an early age. It's so great.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess we started when he was 8, we did our first lesson, so that's pretty young, so we were one of the lucky ones.
Yeah,
How
I
did
didn't
you even
know.
discover it? How did you discover it?
Um, through I became members of the Taka Facebook page,
Yeah,
which
I remember.
works on, and that's how I learned. I never even heard of a functional doctor, and I didn't really know what homeopathy was. So we did work with a homeopathic doctor, but nothing ever really seemed to help. At the end, we were kind of helping with his gut. But after a year, we just decided because we had paid a year in advance, and we were just also doing the functional doctor, and you know, we only have so much. Not that we were paying cash. This all went on like uh, home mortgage, whatever. But yeah, so Taka is where I learned about that, and then I'm trying to think how I learned. It must have been someone within the Taka Facebook page that mentioned the telepathy tapes, and that's really where everything, you know, changed. And then being on these other Facebook pages through that, and meeting people that way has been great. Yeah.
Yeah, so Taka, it's funny, that was my first experience as well when I found out Owen was, di he was diagnosed at, I diagnosed at 1.5, and then officially he got diagnosed at 2.
Oh, okay.
And I guess it used to be called Talk About Curing Autism, and like,
Oh,
officially changed their name because people didn't wanna say that you could cure
the
autism.
cure. I
Yeah,
know.
yeah, and, I still after all this time, I don't know your opinion, but I feel like they're always gonna be who they are.
Yeah. I know it's interesting. Sometimes, like when I say young, like maybe they're new to autism, like their kid was just diagnosed or whatever, and they're reaching out for how do I get my child to talk, and in my mind, I'm like, don't concentrate so much on them actually speaking. Just look at communication, and I've tried to tell so many people that I can about spelling to communicate, and yeah, and about energy in their bodies, and what people, oh, my kid stims all day and, trying to explain why and that sort of stuff because I wish I knew. Um, but yeah, I'm curing, have your kid, what have you done to help cure your kid? It's like there's not cures, but, they're here. If you listen to Susie Miller, um, there's all these influxes of when they have come in, and that's when, this huge increase of autism came, and they're all here for purposes to help humanity. And I truly believe that. So as far as them being like cured, I mean, I think as we know, there's different levels of autism, and I think maybe some people that maybe were, that greatly regressed after vaccines and things, maybe those autistics are a little bit different than like mine, because mine was definitely born this way. I mean,
Mm.
vaccines maybe didn't help, as far as language developing and stuff like that. But he was diagnosed at 18 months. So yeah, I always knew there was a few things that, you know, wasn't quite right, even though he's my first kid. But yeah,
Yeah, it's the mama's intuition.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Oh, well, I think
Yeah,
that's pretty much, like, for
yeah,
the amount of time we were gonna talk,
yeah.
so I
This
don't
has been
know
great.
anything else you wanna add or
No, I'm great. I'm just happy. I haven't been able to attend as many live calls as I'd like. Just the timing doesn't work. A lot of them are at 7 at night, and that's usually when I'm bathing Peter and stuff like that, so it's kinda hard. But I've watched, a lot of them taped and stuff, but yeah, I've enjoyed it all, so yeah.
Yeah.
And thank you for taking the time to talk with me.
Oh, of course, yes, and we will be in touch.
Okay, thanks so much.
Great.